It is the king of Connecticut, the pernicious purveyor of preposterous pomposity, and the paragon of pugilistic punditry, back with another edition of the Old School Shooters on Canada's top combat sports channel, the Hannibal TV. And I am here with MMA Power Hour's Colin Crandall, the esteemed Crandall, who's going to co-host with me. And this gorgeous woman that we have on the show today is a BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, a Gracie world champion, and the daughter of WWE Hall of Famer, the legendary Tito Santana. So normally we say "ass" on Old School Shooters, but perhaps tonight we should say "arriba" to our guest. And on that note, I'm going to lead us off in song. I spent the day representing Berman Law Group at the Latin Heritage Festival here in Florida, and I was singing. And I was singing a song. I should probably have a green lapel in here because it's a song that was written by Consuelo Velasquez from down in Mexico, and it was popularized by Italian crooner Andrea Bocelli. And I want to sing it to our gorgeous guest to lead things off. Oh, bésame, bésame mucho, como si fuera esta noche la última vez. Bésame, bésame mucho, que tengo miedo a perderte después. Let's do one more verse. Bésame, bésame mucho, que tengo miedo a perderte después. All right. All right, everybody. We got to get things started with song because we have the daughter of the esteemed WWE Hall of Famer, Mr. Tito Santana, here, and she is not only a gorgeous woman, but she is a very accomplished grappler. And on that note, I want to turn things over to a very accomplished grappler in his own right and a host of MMA Power Hour, Mr. Colin Crandall. Colin, take it away.
Thank you very much, Matthew Granahan. I appreciate you. Sorry for looking here like I've been exploring out in the wilderness or even like I've been living out there, but just a Sunday here. And we're gonna do a great interview here with Jenny, and really look forward to talking about some wrestling and some BJJ and all kinds of stuff. So Jenny, you're involved in wrestling, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, any other martial arts or sports that you were involved with growing up? What's your background on that?
Oh, my background, I did gymnastics a little bit when I was younger. I was an artistic roller skater. And then I did karate as a teenager and got to like brown belt. So
cool. What prompted you to get into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and how long ago was that?
Oh, it was like almost, I think 9 years ago now. So I've always wanted to do it. I'm from a small town in Pennsylvania, so until we moved to Las Vegas, it really wasn't an option. There really wasn't any Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu schools. It was more like the karate. And so that's why I did that. And then moved out to Vegas. I always wanted to try it. I was training at an MMA gym, and I would always like watch the people doing it. But I was like too scared to jump in myself. I did like a fitness class there. And then my uncle moved out, and we had always wanted to do it together. So we like had courage in pairs, and we tried it, and we both loved it. I have never stopped since then. So, I mean, you always wish you would have started a year, 10 years, earlier, but yeah.
Absolutely. Well, it's never too late, and you're still young, so it's good that you got into it. And you've been competing. And have you been competing on and off, and or do you compete like all the time, regularly every year?
I usually compete every year. I'm good for like a few tournaments. I like to do like nationals is in Las Vegas, so it's super convenient. Nogi Worlds. Can't even remember if that was in Las Vegas this year, or if not, they're usually like Vegas or California. I mean, I've gone to Texas before to compete, but it's so convenient when it's right in your backyard to compete, and they're huge tournaments, So I've been pretty consistent since blue belt competing. I had a car accident and had a lot of injuries I had to work through, and so I took some time off for that, but.
Understood. Do you compete in the same weight class, or has it varied? Do you go between weight classes?
My weight class, so it's usually always middle or light, and it's in the past it was a huge struggle. Weight classes. I remember, I missed weight at light, and then I think a month later I missed weight at middle. But I was not brand new, but it was at a way lower belt. So I think I've gotten it together. The last times I've competed have been at lightweight, I think. So I'm pretty good at like maintaining it now and smarter about it. So lighter middleweight. I mean, I've done open, but it's the initial one is usually lighter middle.
Very cool. And do you end up trying to cut weight like fighters do and like some jiu-jitsu people do so that you can compete in a lower weight class, or do you just come in fully hydrated and strong?
I usually will cut like a few pounds. Like mentally, I need to get past thinking that I'll be stronger at a lighter weight, because I've already competed at lightweight and I was so dehydrated. I was like a little dish rag in there, and the girl, like, I remember first when we grabbed lapels, she like pushed me back. And I went back, and I'm like, oh, it's over. I'm so weak. Like, that would have never happened had I been, like, not ready to pass out. But I've gotten better where now I won't cut a lot of weight, like a few pounds, just watching your diet and things like that. I mean, in order to dehydrate myself too much, like, I've done it where it's the day before weigh-ins, but IBJJF is like you weigh in and then you compete in like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and so you don't have enough time, and so it just those girls at lightweight, like, they're so fast, and if you're like, I found out when I'm dehydrated, like, I'm stronger, but they're a lot faster. So like middle, like if I'm going in at a good weight where I'm not at a deficit for anything, then I'm just as strong as them and I can be faster. So
excellent. Can you let people that don't know what the weight limits are for those weight classes, or do you want to keep that a secret from people watching?
No, it's good. It's all good. The lightweight is like 141 and a half, I believe, and then middleweight's 152, and that's
okay.
That's in a gi.
Oh,
so like lightweight without a gi, I think is 138. I want to say, I could be off, but that's usually what I need to weigh to make weight, like 138-ish, and then the other one's like 148 maybe in order to make weight.
very cool. Do you follow any of like the really prominent, super experienced black belts out there that everyone's heard of, the men or the women? And if so, who are some of the people that you respect or admire or look up to in BJJ?
I mean, I admire my coach first and foremost, Fredson Paschal. He's like 5-time Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion. So
nice.
In the sport. But right now, yeah, we went to ADCC because that was in Las Vegas this year. And so watching like Gordon Ryan, he's like next level. So anything he does, it's super entertaining, and he's so talented. Nicholas Mergali is another one of my favorites. Like he's really good, especially he made the transition now from gi to no gi, and he's just killing it. And then there was a bunch of like younger guys in there that, just put on an amazing showing. Like they were so fast paced and moving. I forget some of their names, but I mean, to watch them and that level of jiu-jitsu, like, yes, I'm a black belt, but at the same time, like, I feel like there's so much to grow still. and I'm not like in an 18-year-old age group. So it's just, there's so much talent out there. The girls fight, her name was Amy. Oh gosh, she's a Zenith girl. For some reason, I forget her last name.
Yeah,
but
I
she
think I know
took
who you mean.
on Gabby Garcia. Like, she was incredible. She ended up winning, and like, it just goes to show, like, believing in yourself and what you can do, and realizing like it's not over until it's over. So that match was amazing.
Absolutely, without a doubt. I interviewed Gordon Ryan about 2 years ago. Really unique dude, and we had a really great chat when he was temporarily retired, when he was really sick, and he wasn't sure if he was ever coming back. And I think like 8 months later, he was back. That was one of the quickest recoveries. But he was sick, and he still does battle with some sort of unusual stomach illness. But
I was on. I was a guest on Inside BJJ with Gordon back some years ago, trying to get him a match with Current Jacobson. I was talking to him back and forth, and he's a funny dude too. He's an entertaining dude as well. But I want to ask Jenny a question as a female athlete. Something that's been asked a lot today. I have a strong opinion on it. How do you feel as a female athlete about men, who are now, claiming to be women? Like I've said many times before myself, you do whatever the hell you want. I don't care, if you want to pretend to be a woman, I don't have to pretend with you. How do you feel about these folks competing in women's sports today?
I don't know if I want to share my opinion, but I will give you a story. I'm going to stay neutral on that topic. But my friend was just telling me there was a weightlifting competition, and the girl came in. She was a boy and living as a woman, and she came in and she was like, she won this powerlifting competition. And then the next year they were back, and some guy came in like jacked to the gill and was like, well, I want to compete. And they're like, no, you can't, sir. And he's like, well, I identify as a girl. And so then they let him compete, and he just like smashed every record. There's definite biological differences between men and women, and so there's pros and cons to each one. But it's hard sometimes. Like, when you roll with a man, like they're stronger usually. Like, men at the same weight are stronger than I am. So
yeah, women in wrestling used to compete in high school and even in college with men before the women's programs came out. Back in my day, there were some women, there were some that were good at the high school level, few that ever made it, collegiately. But to me, it's insanity. And I'm unlike you, I have no problem speaking out, but I understand, if you want to be reticent in that regard, Jenny. But I want to ask you, how is your business going? When you and Jordan, she has a gorgeous daughter, Jordan. We should give a shout out to Jordan. We had you as guests at Berman Law Group in our studio last year, and Jordan and you were starting a business. Tell folks about that.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like, it's getting off the ground. The word's getting out about us. It's in Las Vegas. Jordan and I are running it here with a few of my business partners who live in New Jersey. It's an amazing clinic. We do so many things. We do aesthetics, so like Botox and facials and hair restoration. A lot of people have lost their hair since COVID, so it's pretty good. And then we do peptides. Like, I just started taking a peptide, and I can notice a huge difference. I think I did it like 3 days. And just like, I'm a huge sleeper, and so something small like waking up, one, without an alarm, and two, feeling like I'm able to wake up, as opposed to like feeling I still should be sleeping for 5 more hours, and recovering with my lifting. Like, I don't get as sore. I feel like I can keep going. So like, the peptide stuff that we've started is amazing. There's peptides for like sexual health and recovery, and remaining youthful, and fat loss. And so just an enormous amount of stuff that gets covered. Depending on what your goals are, there's something for you. And then one of the huge things we do is stem cells and exosomes. So we've had a lot of patients come in. It's a great alternative to surgery. Like, it regrows your tissue. My knee was at the point of having a full knee replacement, and I had zero cartilage, and we scanned it like a month or so ago, and you can see the cartilage on it. So it literally regrew it. And there's 2 weeks of downtime as opposed to maybe like 8-12 months of rehab and recovery from a major knee replacement surgery. So a lot of good options. We're like right in the heart of Las Vegas. And so for sure, if anyone's interested in any of that stuff, hit me up. It's Infinite Wellness. We're on Instagram. It's infinitewellness.lv. Our website's infinitewellness.info. So yeah.
Awesome. And I want to ask you about you had a young lady on the show, the She-Hulk, Lanisha Vincent, who is in South Carolina. She's I think 11-4 in MMA,
Yep.
and she's moving over to professional wrestling. She fights for promotion. A friend of mine runs there in South Carolina, and we wanted to introduce you to her. So talk about the pro wrestling promotion that you're involved with.
That's just what I was going to ask.
Yeah, so right now, like, I train at Future Stars of Wrestling, which is a school in Las Vegas. And then I was on like a student show. I'm still kind of training. Like, I'm going to be wrestling in Canada. So like the wrestling shows are picking up. I just want to make sure like I'm really solid before I start taking bookings, because I don't want to like disappoint anyone. Like, what the hell? But yeah, it's great there. Like, there's so much talent here in Las Vegas on these shows. And then I do a lot of interviews for them. So I love doing the speaking part of it too. So it suits me a lot, and it's great. Like, we just had a show this weekend. There's some clips on my Instagram from it, and then there's another show on the 30th of this month there. So if you're interested in wrestling and you're in the Las Vegas area, check it out for sure. FS
No, actually, that's awesome, and you are so photogenic, such a beautiful woman and well spoken. I actually wrestled for those guys at Silverton Casino back in the day. Future Stars of Wrestling. I think it was back in 2015. So they've been around for a while, and it used to be Disco Inferno. Glenn Gilberti used to be one of the main men out there. And I actually set up our buddy here, the Cranimal, Mr. Colin Crandall, with an interview with the late great Stephan Bonner on his MMA Power Hour
a couple times.
And I remember that one because remember he was with Disco. Remember the one where they were intense.
Oh yes, that was something. I think I did 3 interviews with the late great Stephan Bonner, the American Psycho. Very interesting. I remember he said, it was about 4 years ago, about crypto. He said, "Crypto is it's real. I know because I have some."
His club, his club that I was at the grand opening for the Legends Room that he had with Baroni was all crypto. That was like their thing, that they took crypto. But I remember the episode, Colin, because I was on MMA Power Hour that same night as a guest when I booked you with Bonner, and he and Disco were working out the whole time. They were in the pro wrestling gym working out.
That's right.
The intensity. And Jenny brings the intensity. Jenny Santana brings the intensity as well. Now, do you use the same finishing maneuver? Do you remember that figure 4? How is Jordan's doing with that figure 4 leg lock that you taught her at Berman Gym last year in Boca Raton?
She's not really training that much anymore. I was trying to tag team it with her, but she's not that interested right now. She has other ventures she's taking on. But the figure 4, we actually was just working on something with a wrestler, Nick Sander, a leg submission. So I'm playing around in the ring. Not exactly the same figure 4, but definitely incorporating the leg portion of it.
I was gonna.
This is the before you hop in, Colin. This is the daughter of the greatest figure 4 leg locker and WWF champion of all time. No, not Ric Flair, but Tito Santana.
Yes, I remember Tito Santana well. I was watching AWA back then as a very young person, and I used to love the action. And he brought a lot of intensity and charisma. I think he was one of the first Latin stars in wrestling, wasn't he? I don't think there was a lot more back then. And yeah, Tito Santana was a cool dude. How's he doing nowadays? Is he in pretty good health?
Yeah, he was just at a signing in Texas. So yeah, he's still traveling a lot for work.
Nice. Does he have any thought about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or MMA? Do you know?
I haven't really ever talked to him about it, so I think he's so encapsulated in the wrestling world. Probably not.
Makes sense. What do you think about MMA yourself? Do you ever think you would go in on it, or if it was happened, early on?
Come on, Colin. She's too beautiful to go in MMA.
Of course.
Colin, get this MMA garbage out of here.
I pull my face in your range.
Just pull it out. Get a plunger.
Don't be a Sunad, Colin. Come on.
I'll try not to be. What were you saying, Jenny?
If I was like way younger, I probably would have started it, but now, I'm not used to like fists coming at my face.
All right. Well, would it be a good profession for your daughter, Jordan, or do you think probably?
She's too beautiful for that too. Come on.
No.
Get out of here.
I'm the MMA professor. Jiu-Jitsu. Is she in that? Did you get her in Jiu-Jitsu?
I cannot get her started. I've taken her to a few classes, and she just, no.
I'll tell you what. I'll give you a line. It's kind of an intense line, but I'll give you a line. I was talking to a female fighter who I'll remain nameless, but she's a UFC fighter, and went from striking to jiu-jitsu, and we were talking about how it's very tough, to get women into jiu-jitsu. Like, I've been doing jiu-jitsu on and off for about 17 years, mostly off, which is why I'm just a purple belt still, but nevertheless, I would remember when women would come in, they would buy like a week membership or a one-day membership and end up staying for like that day or that week because of a comfort level. It didn't matter if they were training with women, they weren't comfortable. If they were training with men, they weren't comfortable. So I was talking to this women's UFC fighter and said, how can we get women over that? Because it really is the best self-defense out there for women, I think, against the kind of assault that would probably happen to you. And she said a really intense thing. I said, women just seem like they can't get over the level of discomfort. And she said, it's not good. She said, it's not easy when someone's on top of your body and sweating on you. But she said, if they can't get comfortable with jiu-jitsu, how comfortable are they going to be if they're getting raped?
Yeah, that's true.
That's why you got to carry a pistola, Colin. Come on.
But if you don't, then at least if you know your jiu-jitsu, right, it's better to get comfortable in the jiu-jitsu, right? Because then you have a chance.
That actually opens up a good question. That opens up a great question, Colin, for our guest, because how do you feel about jiu-jitsu as far as not sport, but for self-defense?
I mean, I think jiu-jitsu is the best thing for self-defense. If you follow the media at all, like, there's a huge push to get every police officer at least trained to a blue belt level so that they have those skills. When you're getting attacked, like, jiu-jitsu is going to be your best defense. And what I would say, like, it's hard, but jiu-jitsu helps you in so many other aspects of your life, because in order to grow in any aspect, you're going to have to be uncomfortable, and you're going to have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Yeah. And so what helped me a lot as a woman was I started in gi. And so there's that extra layer of, like, the gi is pretty heavy. And
that's
so I remember when it was like months, it might have been 6 months, I had never trained no-gi. And I remember the first time I trained no-gi, I'm like, oh my God, it was more me, like, I feel naked,
Right.
And there was definitely more of the, body-to-body connection. And so maybe sticking girls in a gi when they first come might be like the barrier they need to help them overcome the uncomfortableness that they just can't move forward. So
I like that. The only thing is, requiring them to buy their own gi at $100 or at least close to it might be tough. But if they could have some there, but then if they had some in the class, convincing a woman that they legitimately have been washed thoroughly, it might be a hard sell. But
we actually have extra gis in our gym. We had some hanging up, and so we always have those.
Okay.
And then they do Yeah, we've got enough girls where we take care of taking them home to wash them. So
Nice, good. I like that because that could be a problem. And then not only that, rash guards. You know, one thing I think the pandemic has done is help the jujitsu community. Not that we're pigs or anything like that, but some people would tend to be less considerate with their rash guards and with their gis. And I think with this pandemic, you'll probably agree, Jenny, is that I think the message kind of got through now. Is like, you know what? Don't do that. You can't come to class having worn your gi or your rash guard for the third time that week without having washed it, or the fifth time. You just don't. It's rotten, and
like,
you know, I think I heard it.
Good at calling people out. He'll be like, "You smell."
Yeah, yeah,
Don't do it again. Yeah,
yeah. And see, and when a bunch of guys, if there's no girls there, I think guys feel, what do guys care? But you know what? If you're really stinking, then your gear probably is dirty, and it doesn't matter if we're all guys. You're gonna make a boil grow on me because of your bad, hygiene.
and
Sorry.
sometimes, like, even if it is clean, like, you've sweated in it so much, like, you need to let it go and purge it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Well, sometimes, a lot of times in grappling, that's an advantage when you stink. Because you can, give the old shove them under the armpit.
Oh yeah. I heard
Dirty
some
wrestler,
boxers.
that's what I use my odor. Now I want to take this home for us because we're getting close to the end of the show. So I want to give Jenny the opportunity to promote anything she has coming up and tell fans where they can find you.
Oh, for sure. Find me on Instagram. I'm trying to grow the channel, and it's grown. Like, my Instagram account has grown a lot. Like, I just want to really thank everyone who's followed me and supports and likes and comments. It means a lot. I try to read them all and things, like all the comments and all the DMs.
What's your handle, Jenny, for anyone watching this on the Hannibal TV?
It's Jenny_Santana_.
And that's JENNI, right? Underscore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. And what about other social media? Are you on Twitter? And I know you're on Facebook.
I'm on Twitter. It's the same handle. I'm definitely trying to get better at Twitter. Like, when people tag me, I always retweet because that's like one button. But as I demonstrated my lack of knowledge with Instagram Live, it's a work in progress for Twitter, but it's gotten a little bit better.
Colin and I just stumbled on this Instagram Live because for this show, it was always StreamYard, and the StreamYard was freezing up a lot. So this Instagram Live seems like it never freezes up with the guests. And it's cool because I can save it, and then we can take the video and edit it. Whereas when we do these old school shooters, they're usually live on the Hannibal TV, and we don't have that luxury. So, yeah, what do you have coming up? Do you have any wrestling events or anything coming up?
Yeah, I'll be at the FSW show on April 30th, and let me think what else. I have a bunch of podcasts coming up. The clinic, if you guys need anything medically, if you need to focus on weight loss or recovery, or you're trying to avoid surgery, for sure, check us out at Infinite Wellness in Las Vegas. It's right across from IKEA, if you guys know what Infinite Wellness is. Now I'm probably, definitely the TKN Network, the new network, check that out. That is a streaming network with over 50 shows. It's amazing, the variety of shows they have on there. And then there's different tiers that you can subscribe to. But my show is on there called Beyond the Gym. And we kind of talk about what happens, when the lights fade, or you've been an athlete your whole life, you're a pro athlete, and you age out, or you get an injury. And it's really hard for people to let that go. And so